All right, YouTube, welcome to another edition of the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice, and my guests, Tamika Milburn and Kimberly Raven, and the upgraded intern, Miss Charnay Greer. And today we're going to be talking about leadership at the basketball level. So just hang on, we're going to go live in a couple of minutes.
They can't see me.
I know you got the.
Okay. Because it's right.
Well, now they can't see you.
You want me to come sit up with that?
No, because I know you need to sit up. I'll be saying
my
this.
How close do we need to speak to this? How close do we need to be? How close do we need to be?
Like when you're talking to it, make sure it's like here or somewhere here. I have to look smart.
I should have worn my glasses.
You can borrow mine. I'm okay.
This is too much on my face. It is.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice. Hopefully, you all had a good weekend, a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It is another lovely day in Atlanta. And actually, it is lovely because it's not too cold, it's not too hot. So it actually is a lovely day in Atlanta. And again, I hope you guys had great conversations over the week. I know mine was filled with work, but it's all good because I still got to look at my lovely book that comes out. Yes, I'm starting the show with that today. Remember, my book comes out on February the 15th, Calculated Conflict. It's going to be great. You're going to love it, I promise you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In the studio on today. Okay, so today we're going to shift gears. This is not my area. So this is going to be a really good conversation today because we're actually doing sports. And anybody that knows me knows sport. I am an absolute nerd. I will read a book. I will go for a run. Do not put a basketball or football in my hand. I'm going to be embarrassed and so are you. So today I have two very special guests. I have Miss Tamika Wilburn in the studio today, and Milburn, and I have Miss Kimberly Raven. I'm gonna warn y'all up front right now. Kimberly is gonna be a handful. Tamika's okay, but Kimberly's gonna be a handful. But they both do, yeah, right. They both do amazing things. But I'm gonna let them tell you what they do because they can tell you better than I can. So I'm gonna have both of y'all introduce yourself. You start first. I know you don't want to go first, so you start first.
It's Tamika Milburn with an M. I actually own Playmakers Basketball Royalties. I also own Playmakers International, which is a training and development company for children, mainly for children. We do work with older kids, but my preference is children on that side. And I started Playmakers Basketball Royalties, our pro teams, which is the Atlanta Monarchs and the Atlanta Pharaohs, for the purpose of having more professional athletes around our kids. That's pretty much.
All right, Kim, you go ahead.
And I am Kimberly Raven, Chief Marketing Officer for Playmakers Basketball Royalties, and I'm pretty much her right hand woman into actually helping her with her vision and her goals. So my sole purpose is also to help the organization grow and see the other players as well grow as well.
All right, and today you're actually going to be hearing a new voice because, as you all know, I started an internship program about a week ago, and one of the interns has really stepped her game up. So she's actually in the studio with us today. Miss Charnay Greer, you can introduce yourself as well.
Hello, my name is Charnay Greer. I'm just here as an intern, but I really love reporting, videography, and photography, so it's really good to be here and get a chance to learn the ropes from experience.
I don't know who the experience is, but I guess she's talking about me, but yeah, we're not doing it. I guess she's talking about me, but in any event, Charnay has done a very good job, and I want to say that she actually did. Remember when I joked last year about having a research team? I was like, okay, so you're going to be doing interviews with me today, and I didn't even tell her to do the research, and she sent me this email. She's like, okay, well, are these questions good? And there was all this research on both of them. I think I know more about them than they do about themselves. And that's all accredited to Miss Charnay, so I'm absolutely elated with her. There are other interns, but you will be introduced to them as they step their games up to actually sit in one of these chairs and actually interview with me, because that is the goal. Because, you know, we like to learn and teach, because that's what it's all about. But let's get into it. All right, ladies. So today's discussion is really about making a way in what would be perceived as a male-dominated industry. When you think sports and you think about management and leadership, you typically think about the males sitting in the skyboxes with their cigars and their expensive drinks. So I was very elated to see that there was 2 females that owned a professional basketball league and African American females that own a basketball league. So you start. Tell me what it's been like. Like, what have you had to go through to? You knew this was coming. You knew this question was coming. What was it like to get it started? You know, what was the vision? You know, what drove you to want to do something like this? You said you're not a sports person.
No, I'm not.
So you got to explain that. How are you not a sports? You got to explain that. How are you not a sports person, but you have a sports team?
To be honest, it's because I met the end result of the sport. So people like some of our players, Latoya, Tanae, Davis, I met the end result. So these are people who played basketball in college at the highest level. They played in the WNBA, been drafted, played overseas. And I didn't feel like the sport was molding them to be the people that they could have been versus the athlete that they were. So when basketball ended for them, it was like they were lost. And I equate that to when I was in the military. I was in the military for 7 years, planning on retiring. Got sick and actually had to get out on a medical. And after the military ended for me, I was lost. And when I met them, it was the same situation. So what I wanted to do is to go back and start with the kids, you know, and start educating the kids on the business side of the sport and on everything you can do inside of whatever sport you choose to do on the outside of playing the sport. So we started with Playmakers International with the training and development program, and that was mainly geared towards the kids, the middle school and the high school kids who have the goal of playing where Latoya and Tanae have been and some of our pro guys.
So it's just female or is it co-ed?
It's co-ed.
Okay.
So we just wanted to kind of start there and start raising them in the sport, but not just with the sport. So, you know, we do a lot of things with them. We let them talk to people in the sport who are not just playing the sport. We do take them to colleges and things like that to let them talk to coaches so that they can get an idea of what else there is outside of just playing the sport, because it does eventually end. And that's pretty much what got me started. It was the kids and, again, the end result, because it was just a disconnect. You know, they're going to college, they're playing, but then when it's done, it's done. And then they're kind of lost out there. So we wanted to get those kids who we knew had a career, but also knew that it's going to eventually end for them. Yeah.
So what made you want to go to this level, like to own a team? Like you could be like, well, I'm just going to find some place to volunteer or to help out. But you went, you could have said that. You're like, I just want to go volunteer, go hang out, see what it's like. But you said, no, I want to get to this level. So what made you want to? Because that's a lot more drive than to go work for someone or go to work with somebody. But you chose, I want to go to this level. So what made you have the drive?
Said it though, it's that drive.
It is.
You have to. It's something inside of you that when you want something, when you want to be a part of something that's bigger than you, that's the drive, because it's not about you. You know what I'm saying? You put yourself aside. Neither one of us stepped into this organization thinking about us. It was, what can we do to help others? What can we do to bridge the community together? So that's how we work so well together. You know what I'm saying? Because I have the same vision. Now, I'm not saying it was with a basketball organization or sports in itself, but Kim just wanted to be able to enhance her leadership skills so she can actually just give back to the community and to, and to help others. That's where the similarities come with Tamika and I. We're not basketball players. We never were. I'm actually a football. I'm more on the football side.
Really?
I'm a Falcon fan. I'm born. Yeah, she's an Eagle.
I'm an Eagles fan, by the way.
Right, she's an Eagle fan. Congratulations.
Okay.
Whatever.
Let me put this out. We already said that I'm a nerd. So all that y'all just said,
but now let me finish.
It's
right.
French.
But right. Okay, but I'm a football person, so I play. But at the same time, though, I still understand it's the business side of it. I didn't have to be drafted. I didn't have to know how to play in order to want to help others. Or, or to just have a business on how to run. It doesn't matter what sport, what entity that you're in. If you come in with a business mindset, you can be successful. And that's where we were. I saw her business as, like I said, wanting to, this vision was bigger than her. And I wanted to be something that was bigger than me and challenging too. And challenging for myself. So,
and even with our players on our pro teams, we have a lot of young players. We have Monique Reed, who is awesome. She's a great personality. We have Monique Reed. We have people like Bree McDonald, who are younger players. They're able to be mentored as well while they're actually mentoring our kids. So we have, Mary Nell Matters as our coach. We have people like Latoya, who's really considered a veteran player. Tanae, who's considered a veteran player, who can mentor people like Bree and Monique. who Bria and Monique are mentoring are younger kids. So it's I wanted to have like this life cycle of basketball so that we can all just give back to the kids. Our older players our veteran players can get back to our younger players. Our younger players can get back to our babies. It's just all about, like you said, it's just outside of what we're doing, but it's all giving back and developing these kids and developing the sport as well.
And adults. I mean, the adults want to do greater things too.
This
You
is
know,
true.
and a lot of them need assistance with that. And so, Playmakers Basketball Royalties, the organization, they provide that atmosphere for you to perfect your craft, basically.
All right, so let me put this out there. If you, because this is going to be a great conversation, if you have questions or have comments, you can definitely call in. The number is 404-355-8699. Again, 404-355-8699. All right, so I'm going to let Charnay ask a question. So I'm going to pass you this mic. And stop. Why you looking like a deer caught in headlights?
So you just said that Marinelle Metters, who is a former Atlanta Dream head coach, is your head coach for the Atlanta Monarchs. So how excited is it to have her be a part of the team?
It is.
Can you see that smile?
I just want to say, like, a smile on her face came like, okay.
Every time you mention her name, she lights up though.
You have to understand who Mary Nell Metters is, and I mean, she is she started the Atlanta Dream. She's behind the Atlanta Dream. You know, she had the gold medal from 2012 Olympics, but she's also someone who has started other basketball programs and has done so well. And she's the type of person that really, she just gives so much of herself. She does. Like, if you just meet her, I met her one time about a year and a half ago. She was at a combine watching Latoya play, and it was just a brief meeting, but just some of the things that she said to Latoya, you know, it just brought back this spark in Toya in just that one meeting. And I was like, this lady is awesome. So when it came time to say, okay, I've actually been considering this for about the past 2 years because my trainers who've been playing in several leagues out here, I wanted to give them something better and give them, you know, good coaching and things like that. So I finally did it. And when I said, okay, I'm going to own this team, I needed a coach like Mary Nell Metters. So I go after Mary Nell Metters. You know? It is so awesome. Like, she is so wonderful. You know, we were out there with her last night. We took a bunch of kids to see Florida State play Notre Dame, and she has press passes, can sit anywhere she wants, and she sat with us. You know, she is just a wonderful, wonderful woman. And I'm blessed. I don't think people understand how blessed we are to be able to have her. She is humble.
She is so humble. Her spirit is just so calm.
Okay, so with Marinette Metters and what she's doing with the players that you're looking for, can you tell us a little bit about some of the players you've acquired so far?
Yes. We actually have, I'm going to say this out loud, we have a WNBA caliber squad. Starting with our franchise player, Latoya Bond, who is one of our veteran players but can get out there and go with anybody. She's actually coming off of ankle surgery. You can't tell if you look at some of our videos. She's rehabbing right now. We have people like her. We have Tanae Davis-Kane, who can shoot the lights out. She's out of Florida State. She was also drafted. Bree, Shay actually was brought on by Marinelle Metters, Shira Brown. Bree McDonald, she's from here. She actually played out here, grew up out here, which is good for us. Monique Reed out of Louisville. If you know anything about sports, she was a part of that Louisville team that beat Brittany Griner's Baylor team. She played with Shoni Schimmel. But our players, we have phenomenal players. Monique is overseas putting up 20-plus points a game. And then Courtney Hurt, who is also from here. Courtney Hurt was also drafted. Courtney Hurt she's actually, I guess, considered one of our veteran players too. But she's from this area. She, I believe, she went to VCU. What high school did she go to? Salem High School. Out in Salem. She went to Salem High School, but she's also a phenomenal player. And we have the good thing about our players that are not just basketball players. They're all wanting to grow this game. They're wanting to grow women's basketball. They're wanting to give back to these kids. They're wanting to put our young girls in a position to where they can be successful again on and off the court. They're all into mentoring. They're into training. We've known Courtney for a while. She comes back every year and works with our kids. Latoya, Tanae, Taylor, they're always, and Lily is always coming back. Alicia Harvin, I always say their nickname. I'm sorry. Alicia Harvin, who's over in France right now. They always come back and work with our kids.
All right, so I'm going to say this before we go to break. I talk a lot about passion, and there were certain, Shanae, very good job, by the way. There are a look that people have when they have passion. And the questions that Shanae just asked Tamika, and if you watch my YouTube channel at The Leadership Blend, you can see the look on Tamika's face. It lit up. It's a passion you can't buy. So I will definitely say, just in the first segment, I'm blown away. And yeah, Tamika is not shy. I see that now. Okay, Kim, you win. Tamika is not shy. I see that now. But you have to ask the right questions. But we're going to take our first break. And when we come back, I'm going to have the ladies map this out. Because like I said, I'm a nerd, so I'm kind of lost. But I'm going to have them map it out when we come back. Because if I'm lost, y'all are lost. But it's all good. Stick around with the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice. Oh, shy, huh?
I am. You just get me talking about
No.
I'm excited about this kind of stuff.
You know, but somebody who does not play basketball, you sure went there like that. Like, it was this. I was like, yeah, somebody's in denial. Somebody's in absolute denial.
I don't play.
Somebody in
When
absolute
you
denial.
see these women play, it'll make you want to watch the game. They are a different kind of players. When you see them play, you see that one right there play, you're going to want to watch.
You know what? Look, this is a whole other world to me, but I'm impressed. All right, so when we come back from break, I'm gonna have y'all map this out, like what each program does, how this works, because I know y'all have like playmakers, and then the other thing, like how does all this work? Cause
Okay.
Yeah, she'll do that.
If you want to, you can talk about the partnership you have with Atlanta and Mrs. that you also have, right? The community.
Yeah, that's my
aspect.
nonprofit.
That's where it all.
That's the base of it.
That's where
the baby.
pretty much it started.
Oh, okay.
You know, I started off again wanting to work with kids,
Uh-huh.
and then just through the basketball and Atlanta Young Misses and some of the kids we had from the beginning, it's how it just kept growing.
that's usually what
I
happens.
like that
My
because
nonprofit
instead of
like
having
that.
one thing, you have the whole thing, so they can go to each level of what you have.
And it's awesome because like our kids who play and go to college, when they get out of school, they go overseas, they can come back in the summertime and play on our pro team.
Oh,
And then
It all works out.
It's a
And then they're
They
like
go
our
right
kids
back
come
and
back
come
now in
back.
the
I'm
summer
on this end.
and they work with our babies.
The PBR. I'm on the tail like way. I just came in the door. I literally just came in the door.
This has been a process and a struggle going up these. It's been 5 years, and then we just started this.
Man,
last
when
year.
we
Do you want to
yeah,
talk about the
when
mom?
we
Do you want to talk about the?
Our teams, the Monarchs and the Pharaohs.
Do you want to talk about the Pharaohs or something?
We can. We're not really. I mean, I can talk about their coach, but I don't have all our plays. They don't start until October.
Right.
So
October.
of 2018. We'll be holding tryouts for them probably. So we don't really
In
have that.
March.
Yeah.
we can end it with what we have going on.
yeah, the last segment. All right, everybody.
Our partnership.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice. And today we are talking about women in sports leadership. And we have Miss Tamika and Miss Kimberly. And when we left to go on break, we were cracking the lid off this bad boy. And so they were going into it. So now we're going to actually lay a foundation. So Tamika, tell me where it all started. Like where it all started and gradually take us there. Because like I said, I get it. But it's a lot of programs, but they sound like great programs. So let's start from the beginning. So
Okay.
tell me how it started, and then kind of walk us through it.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to talk in front of the mic.
It pretty much started, like I said, with the kids. We started off basically doing training, onesie and twosies here, a couple of kids with LaToya. As we continue to do that, I just saw a need. Again, it was a need for, I guess, more structure and more focus on not just the basketball side. So as we started working with some of the kids, I created Atlanta's Young Misses. Atlanta's Young Misses is my nonprofit organization, and inside of that, we use extracurricular activities to basically empower young girls. We want them to become leaders. We want them to become strong community leaders. We want them to also understand the purpose of giving back. So when they do become successful, coming back to their communities or whatever community they're in and giving back. So we started there. From there, we have Playmakers International, which actually it helps some of those kids who don't have the resources they don't have the resources or the access to the training and the tools that make them better and make them more competitive. Our whole goal is basically to get these girls out of high school, make sure they're going to college or going wherever they need to go to be successful. So Playmakers International came in and provided those resources. And then through that, we went to the Playmakers basketball royalties, again with the pro teams and things like that actually continue to feed back into Atlanta's Young Misses, feed back into Playmakers International. Our players are trainers. Our players are mentors. So they're mentoring under Atlanta's Young Misses. They're mentoring under Playmakers International, our pro players. So it just, like I said, it just all goes back into each other.
All right, so the Atlanta Young Misses was the beginning.
Yeah, in a sense, was the beginning. Yes.
So what's the age group for that?
That's 3rd through 12th grade. And we actually keep them through college. Like our college kids now, they can call. And, we still mentor them. They'll call and ask for advice. Sometimes they'll just need something. So we keep them. It's technically 3rd through 12th grade, but we never let go of our kids. Because our kids who play, basketball, we know that they can go off to college. If they go overseas or if they whatever they do, they can always come back and play in our pro team. And then when they do that, they're now mentoring and training our younger kids who are in Atlanta's Young Misses and Playmakers International. So it really never stops because we tell everybody, once you're a part of the Playmakers family, you're always a part of the Playmakers family.
It's a never-ending cycle.
All right, so the Young Misses, and then they feed into Playmakers.
Yes.
And Playmakers is the
training and development. Playmakers International is a training and development program.
But they can walk into Playmakers if they hadn't been in the Young Misses
Yeah,
program?
they can.
So how does that work?
Because Playmakers International, we train and develop everybody, all athletes, young women, men. So it's just, that's actually a for-profit training program. So we do basketball training, we do sport-specific training for any sport. So that's for anybody. When they get into Playmakers, if we see that Atlanta's Young Misses for our girls can benefit them, you know, or even if we don't see it, but they see that it may benefit them, then we enroll them in that program as well.
What's the age for that, for the Playmakers?
And Playmakers is all ages. We work with kids. We work with kids as young as kindergarten all the way up to pros.
Okay, in the crap? Kid, what did your little grandma pose? Do they throw the ball up
We have
and
some kindergartners that can, they can.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah,
Seriously?
there's some, it's a little girl that can handle that ball. They can handle that. You would be surprised.
You have to come and see it.
You have to. It's
Don't try to-
actually
Kim, don't try to
really
put that on
awesome.
me. Don't try to be slick and sliding
We're
plugs.
gonna put you over to the
Don't
sports
try
side.
to
You're
be
gonna be
slick
a
and throw in
sports
plugs.
nerd.
Like what's happening right now?
You're going to be a sports nerd.
Oh, God.
Come on now.
That's like
Step
an
your game
oxymoron.
up.
You can't be a sports
Yes,
nerd.
you can.
Step your game up.
Oh, you can use my own
In
terminology.
PBR, you can. Yes, you can.
You know what? That's marketing all day. See how she threw that plug in? That's marketing all day. It's all fine. It's all good. All right. So where are they at? Is there a facility that you guys are housed in?
We actually are looking. We've been in Decatur for 3 years. We actually are looking for another facility. We're not there anymore. We're just trying to figure out where we want to be. Right now, we're in Stockbridge training at the Jimmy Lee Smith Community Center, and we're at a place at Stone Mountain. But we are, like I said, we're looking for another facility that we can actually call our home.
Okay. All right. So I know the struggle it takes to start a nonprofit because most people know I had one that I had to put on ice because this started and all this stuff started.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So tell me about what it took to get how did we get to a professional league? How do we get there? Because I know we have the Young Misses and then we have Playmakers. So how do we get to owning your own league?
Let me just tell you one thing that motivates me. Okay. Naysayers and challenge.
Oh, I'm about to say money and food?
No,
Okay.
it's not.
Sorry, I thought we said, maybe I thought it was talking about me. My bad. Money and food. Okay, my bad. We're not talking
No,
about
it's
me.
in my top 5.
You know, I'm saying money and food is what motivates me.
No,
Okay.
Money doesn't motivate me.
No,
It's a challenge and naysayers. So, you know, as I've watched these leagues, and the league that we're in now is an awesome league. The women's league that we're playing in, the Women's Blue Chip Basketball League, the WBCBL, it's a very competitive league. It's awesome. It's just that I always, this just may be my ego, but I always think that there's more that could be done. You know, when you have players.
That's passion and execution. That's a good thing.
When you have players and you have teams that are playing and you have these women that have so much to give back, I wanted to bring something else that, you know, these women they can come and play and they can fulfill their passion on the court. At the same time, you know, their stats are being, I know this is a sports thing, so you may not understand.
My head is already spinning. You know, I don't know how you know. There's a line of questions because I'm just like this. I'm trying to understand this. Carry on.
So their stats are being uploaded to Eurobasket. So they actually play
All right,
in this
Paul,
league.
I got one rule on this show. If you use a term that you don't think none of us know what it means, you got to tell us what it means. What is stats? I got an idea. I have an idea.
They're numbers. Basically, you know, how many points per game, rebounds per game, assists. They're
Does
numbers.
that have some validity to it? What exactly does that? I hear that when I
has a lot
watch.
of validity
Like,
to
what
it.
does it mean? What is it?
It's the difference between getting a job making $300 a month versus $3,000 a month.
well, there you go.
It determines how much.
I don't know these things.
It is. It's how it shows.
So
how good
it's
of a
like
player
an
you are.
athlete's resume.
Yes.
Okay,
Exactly.
there we go. All right. Look, y'all know I try to
I like
parallel
that.
this to
I like
business.
that
I like to
definition.
parallel
I
this to
like it.
business. So it's an athlete's resume. Okay, good. Carry on.
It is. So, you know, in this league, their stats are uploaded. You know, people can see we have scouts, we have agents that are actually helping these women if they want to stay overseas, get either better jobs overseas or get overseas if they're not there. So it's just, it's an avenue for them to grow professionally, but it's also an avenue for them to grow the game by giving back to the kids. And that's on the women's side and the men's side, the Atlanta Monarchs and the Atlanta Pharaoh side. So, right now, the Atlanta Monarch season is going to be starting first, which is we start in May. Our first game is May 5th. So that you know, we're in the community. We have the women who are here. Most of them are overseas right now, but the women who are here, we have them in the community. We're doing community events. We partner with the Fulton County Sheriff's Department. We're going to be doing a few events with them, and we're out there. So the whole the pro ball thing came from wanting to be able to give back to the kids, but also wanting to be able to help these women who they're so talented. And a lot of these women don't get the credit that they deserve. But I'm not a basketball person. I never really watched basketball. But when you see some of these women play, it's a business and it's entertainment and it's entertaining. You know, so for someone who may not understand everything about the game, I understand that Latoya Bond, at her age, she's usually one of the older players on the court, but she's breaking ankles out there. You know, she's moving and doing things that you just don't see a lot of people do. And this team that we have a lot. All of our players are like that. So it's an opportunity, like I said, for them to showcase what they're doing, as well as them to give back to our kids.
All right, because you hear about athletes going overseas a lot. Is there some advantage being overseas versus being here? Or is it just something you kind of, if the opportunity presents itself, you go?
Well, overseas, the overseas leagues, that's their pretty much year-round job. When they're coming home, they're usually on their break. A lot of our athletes come home and they're playing to stay in shape. Some of them, like I said, are playing to get their stats and to get better jobs overseas. But there is an advantage. That's their job.
Okay, so you can go overseas and play year-round.
Yeah.
But here, they're broken up into segments and seasons and stuff like that.
Well, here you have the WNBA, and that's it. That's the only. I mean, as far as the professional teams, you have programs like the WBCBL. Our season runs concurrent with the WNBA, so that's when agents and scouts are looking, which is a benefit to playing in the WBCBL. But that's pretty much it. What's on TV is the WNBA. Mm-hmm. Overseas, there's a whole lot of teams overseas. There's more teams overseas and more leagues overseas that the women can go over there and play in.
So they have more options overseas.
Yeah.
So is the process still the same? Scouts come out from overseas and they hear about your team and they go look for it. Yeah. So in Atlanta, are there any other leagues that do what you do? There
are leagues. Nobody does what we do. But
well, there's that confidence there. Well, I tell you, Tamika is lights up like a Christmas tree when you start talking about this. Okay, all right.
Well, yeah, it'll be different.
Yeah, there are other leagues. There's several other leagues, but like I said, we are. And I say we are a community-based organization. It's point blank. That's what we do. We are professional teams, but we are all about the community.
So that's what makes us different. That's what sets
So the bulk of your kids come from DeKalb, or it's all over?
We're all over. We have kids all the way up in Chatsworth, in the mountains. They're all
Are you
over.
serious?
I'm very serious.
Well, imagine that. All right, let's cross over to. All right, I'm gonna ask you a question real quick because we got about 3 minutes before we go to break. What is it like trying to market? And Sky is making sure I see his 3 fingers. I see you, Sky. I see. What is it like to market something like this?
Oh, it's very exciting to market. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, and it just takes a lot of work and dedication. But I don't look at it as a job. I don't look at it as work when you're passionate about what you like doing. And like I said, I'm just grateful to Tamika for even just giving me this platform anyway to perfect my craft and allow me to be, creative. But with PBR, even though every one of us have our own position, we're all a family. So we all pitch in. So for me, it's just giving me that opportunity to, like I said, to be a part of something that's much bigger than me and to give back.
So what do you find is more effective when you're marketing? Is it social media? Is it grassroots where you're getting out there with portfolios and like, hey, this is what we're doing? What do you find more effective?
Social media is definitely effective, but the best advertising is word of mouth. So I love talking about PBR and what we're doing and what we're bringing to the city of Atlanta. Matter of fact, outside of the city of Atlanta, because we're going international. So best believe that.
All right, so I'm gonna let you ask a question. You got 2 minutes. Can you ask a question in 2 minutes?
With just 2 minutes left, I just want to know, since you are really community-based and into doing for your local community, do you have a favorite event that you all put on or you all work with?
When we have stuff coming up, I will say we've done we've done a fitness concert, which we haven't had the participation we want. I think this year we'll have a whole lot more participation. That's one of my favorite events because it involves fitness, which, I love that. And it teaches people how to be healthy without having to spend a lot of money. That right there is probably going to be one of my favorite events. We also have some stuff coming up with the Fulton County Sheriff Department that we can talk about. All
right, everybody. So we got through our second segment. So stick around because I'm going to really draw this out when we get in segment 3. So stick around the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice. That's one of the answers.
You can't be eating cookies and chips while you're talking on the radio, Kim. What's wrong with you? Kurt just smiled. He smiled. He just be out there just smiling.
I was
Oh,
gonna
Scott.
No, I said
Okay.
I want him to call me.
Y'all better tell me. I know I start talking fast when I get excited. Y'all better tell me slow down.
Oh no, it's fine.
I just go and go. Shut up.
Do y'all have a do y'all know where games will be at? Be played
This
at?
one I can't
No,
do.
not yet. But let's not bring that up. We're working on a couple
Real quick for me.
locations.
Cause they're trying to find my Twitter. I can't. I can't.
She know it.
I know that's.
Your
look,
Okay, what else you
yeah,
about to throw in?
I use it, but I don't know how to actually do it in anything.
Well, what else you about to throw in?
It's hard because there's no the and it's no
The struggle. That's what I'm going into. The struggle, like the real Dark Nights. You know, the
Oh,
struggle.
her and I, we have our rent.
We talking about
We
we've
have
been a
our-
struggle
we
for the
have
past
our-
5 years. You got. I haven't known you for 5 years, but you got it. This has been a struggle even getting to this point.
Ashton, you want to sit in?
I do.
All right, hurry up, cause we getting ready to come off break. So whatever y'all want to do it. Are they okay? They doing what they supposed to be doing? All right.
The man has a feather in his hat.
When they start talking about what they do and how you say like how they're leaders and then you go into your book at the end.
Oh yeah. The end is always a
I'm
wrap
gonna
up.
write a book.
You need to.
I probably do.
Why you playing?
You wanna switch
All right,
back
welcome back to the Leadership Blend with your host Ricardo D. Rice, and we have Tamika and Kimberly in the studio today. All right, so we talked about. I'm trying to make sure I have the picture painted because if I have the picture painted, then everybody else has the picture painted. So we have the Mrs. programs, the playmakers, and then the professional league.
Yes.
All right, so I got it down.
Yes. Right.
All right, so now we about to get into the real leadership aspect. So again, when you think about owning a professional league, you think about, again, the older gentlemen sitting in skyboxes with their cigars and their brandy, and they're going, yeah, you know, they're making us a lot of money. You know, so that's not, clearly sitting with you guys, that's not your reality. So, again, tell me about, let me switch mics. Y'all probably both want to share this one. All right, so tell me about when you definitively said, okay, I want to own a league. I want to own a league. Like, what was the process like? Did you have to submit an application? Did you have to tell me about the process?
It's really it's like any business. We had to go to the owner of the WBCBL, the league, let them know.
All right,
what
I'm
we
gonna ask you.
need.
I know you probably can't answer it, but I'm gonna ask you because you might surprise me. What does that stand for?
Women's Blue Chip Basketball League.
Okay.
That is my profession. Of course, I can answer it.
Well, I just have to make sure because I use acronyms all the time. I ain't gonna lie. I've used them so much I forgot what they mean or what they stand for. I use them so much I forgot what they stand for.
And the Women's Blue Chip Basketball League is a professional development organization. So it's a professional development. It's a pro team for women athletes, women basketball players.
So does it run parallel to the WNBA?
Yes.
So they
Our
do the
season-
same thing. It's just
We run
it's
concurrently. Yes.
okay.
We actually have more teams than the WNBA. Obviously, the WNBA is on TV and things like that. We do broadcast some of our games live as well, but it's not the WNBA. It's kind of like, I guess it's kind of an equivalent to what they call the G League with the NBA, which is the professional.
I thank you.
It's a professional.
Read my face. Read my face, Tamika. What does my face tell you?
It's a professional development league that takes women players to a higher level, I guess.
All right, so the WNBA is the more known one because we see it.
Yes.
And this one is like I don't want to say secondary, but in
Absolutely.
our mind it's like a secondary. But do they broadcast? They don't broadcast as frequently as the WNBA, or they just don't broadcast at all. It's more of they just do the game.
No, we
and
do
it's on the
broadcast
level.
live. We actually have some of our teams they play on some of their local stations. It just depends on where they are. We're hoping to eventually get to that point as well. This is our first year, but that is a goal eventually to be able to play on one of the local stations. And we will be on live. Some of the sports radio stations will probably be on YouTube, but we do broadcast our games live, and it just depends on the teams and where they are.
All right, so let's go back to starting. So you said I want to own a team, and what'd you do?
So I actually, my first attempt was to partner with another team. They weren't really interested, which was fine. You know, at the end of the day, either you're my partner, or you're my competitor, and I like competition. Mm-hmm. So they became my competitor. So my first thing was to do that because I don't, you know, why reinvent the wheel when you can kind of partner with people.
Which is a lot of times what people, and last week or a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about marketing plans and business plans, and in a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats, you have to assess who your competitors are and who could likely be partners. So you want to do that. So that was definitely a good first step. Yeah. Carry on, I digress.
So that that didn't work out. So I went to the obviously the league commissioner and let him know I was interested in owning a team. And then we got quiet because I knew what I was working on. I was working on Mary No Matters, you know. So and I actually, when I first thought about it, I considered several coaches, and each one I said I love this person, but that's not what I'm looking for. I just needed more. I need somebody that's going to come out and you know just punch people in the throat. Like, you know, when I say this,
we got really violent and really quickly. I don't know.
When I say that this person is going to be our coach, I need people to say, and that's what's happening. Mm-hmm. You know, because even she's getting calls. They're like, well, what are you doing? This is Mary No Matters. I mean, she started the Atlanta Dream. How are you going to coach in the WBCBL? But she's such an awesome person that she wants to be a part of something too. And you know, she's about the development side of it. So once we were able to, you know, I acquired the team. We sent an email or a message on Facebook. I had Latoya. Latoya and I argued about it for a couple of days because she said she is not coming to coach our team. I said, we're going to ask, you know. So what at least we could do is ask. She's like, she's not coming. So I drafted a message. So Latoya sent it to Mary No Matters, and see when she responded, she said, I'm definitely interested. And then I fell on the floor. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, you know, we went back and forth, and yeah, she's here. She's been on board, ever since, and she's awesome. Like she'll and I go to her not just as a coach, but just as a mentor because again, she started so many organizations, and she's actually gotten so many organizations to where they are now. You know, and I personally think she's very much underappreciated. But she's like a mentor to me because I can go to her and I can ask her questions. You know, she laughs at me a lot. She says I have big dreams, and I do. Well, that's who she is. She's a person who had big dreams. She was a person who was told you will never coach basketball. You know, and if you see Mary No Matters, she's probably, I don't even know if she's 5 feet tall, but she's very short. But if you look at her, she just has this presence about her that you just know that, yeah, she's short and, you know, but she's just so strong in her personality, and she's just awesome. So for me, you know, that was where I started with the team, with the women's team and the men's team, the same thing. I'm not going to say who I've been talking to on the men's side. As far as coaching, I can say that we have Jermaine Jones on board, who actually played at UGA. He's a former 76er. He played with the Lakers. He played with Cleveland. So he actually was here this weekend. He attended the pre-Grammy event with us. And we actually worked with his daughter when she was in high school. But he's on board with us as well, and he's been phenomenal. So when the first thing I thought about when starting these pro teams is the coaches, because again, it's about the leadership. You know, I can't talk basketball to these players at all. I don't want to. You know, so it's about the leadership. So who can I bring in that has the experience and has the passion and the drive to get our pro players where they need to be so that they're able to give back to our younger players? And it was Mary Nell, Jermaine Brown. I am going to say that I actually had a conversation. I mean, Jermaine Jones. I said I'd mixed them up. I actually had a conversation with.
If you would have said, I would have never known.
I know his name was.
I would never know.
I had a conversation with Jermaine Jones, who actually gave me Larry Brown's phone number, who actually coached the 76ers. So I had a conversation with him about him being part of the organization as well. So we're working on that as well. And it's just I'm going after big time, like because I want.
I see you're not playing.
No, I'm not.
You're not playing with this thing. All right, what's been the hardest thing? What was the hardest part about getting all this off the ground?
Just having a door slam sometimes.
Yeah, and
it's hard because her and I would actually talk sometimes, and I would call her and I would rant because you get frustrated sometimes when you see the vision. You just want people to be on board with you, and when they don't see that, it's like, how can you not see this vision? How can you not want to be a part of this? How can you slam the door in my face? And so it just get frustrating. So I would call her, and then she'll hear my rant, so I hear hers, and then at the end of the conversation, we'd be like, okay, so the solution is this. This is what we're gonna do. I mean, that's how we have to be. And so it's just like you were saying, it's a male dominant. I'm like, okay, well, who said? Well, what stone is that written on? Like, seriously, like, I want to know, you know, who says that because we're women that we can't do this? Who says that? So like she said, those naysayers, those people that haters or whatever you want to call them, we're looking at them. That's our go get it medicine. You know what I'm saying? If you think we can't do it, you just sit back and wait.
I almost banned you from making that statement. Go get a medicine.
Yeah, just go get it.
That's the best you come up with in this moment.
I know.
That's the best you could come up with in this moment. Go get it medicine.
Go get it. I don't know.
Oh, good Lord. All right, so staying in the women and the men vein. So y'all have is it a women's team and a men's team?
Yes. So our women's team is the Monarchs, the Atlanta Monarchs. Our the women's team plays in the WBCPL. Our men's team right now is scheduled to play in the ABA, which is the American Basketball Association, been around forever.
Do you find it easier to send the boys to the professionals areas, or is it the same? Is it?
No, and really the difference is it's not the same. The difference is there's a difference between obviously men and women. And unfortunately, a lot of our boys are brought up to believe that they're all going to play in the NBA, and it's just not going to happen. A lot of our kids are brought up to believe that they're going to play Division I college basketball, which is the highest level of college basketball you can play in the NCAA, and that's just not going to happen. So the difference between the women and the men is that a lot of times the girls are more realistic. Okay, there's a very small percentage who make it to Division I basketball. So girls are more likely to say, okay, if I don't make it to Division I, Division II is fine. It's very difficult, which is why I'm very thankful to have Jermaine Jones, because he can share his story and his experience with some of our other guys. With our young boys, it's even more difficult for boys because there's so many more boys playing than there are girls, and the opportunities are very limited. So it's the mindset of not just the kids but also the parents, because even kids grow up and say, my baby's gonna play in the NBA, and he's like 9. You know, and at 9 he may be 5'5", which is kind of tall for 9, but then he turns 14 and he's still 5'5". You know, so it's not, I mean,
that hurt. That hurt. I'm not that tall. I'm like 5'7". These wasn't 5'5". That's the best number you could come up with right now. I'm offended. Yeah, you forgot. I know I look tall because I'm sitting down. I'm not.
I forgot that you were highly challenged.
Highly challenged.
You know, but she get points a little bit in that crap. You came up with that go get a medicine crap.
I know.
That's garbage. Absolute garbage. All right, now that you still gonna come up with something better to go get it. But what, you know what? You fail miserably. All right, so staying that. All right, so with minority males, black males, is that a problem? Because that, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's the problem I have with sports and black males. Because I feel like we set our kids up for failure. I've gone to school and gotten almost 4 degrees. I'm almost done with a doctorate. And my parents knew I was not athletic, so we didn't even try to go to that lane. But I see so many athletic programs for small black boys versus, educational programs and things of that magnitude. Yeah. How do you deal with that?
And I don't want to call it a problem, but it is an issue in our community. And one of the ways we're dealing with that is we're looking to partner with boys organizations to kind of bring what we're doing on the Atlanta Young Misses side with our girls to the boys side. So we're not, our girls are doing more than basketball. We have one of our high school girls who's actually interning under Kim, on the marketing side. They're putting together... Hi, Joe. They're putting together programs. They're putting together fundraisers. They're learning the business side of everything, not just the sports. So if we have an event, they're coming up with our marketing campaign. They're doing the budget. They're doing things
that's the
like
girls.
That. Yes. So we're looking to partner with the guys organizations that's doing the same thing, and then showing them that yes, we understand that you want to play basketball, but or whatever sport it is, but you have other options. So and it's just and it honestly is not really the kids. It's just trying to get the grown-ups to buy in too, because again, a lot of people just want to be able to promote. My kid went here. My kid went there.
Share about the program, bringing that program into the school.
Yeah, and that's been it's been difficult to be able to bring like our land. Like we're working on an IT program for girls, but it's difficult to bring them into the school. I'm not even going to continue to try to work with the school. We're going to go to the community centers now.
The school system, because I worked in a school and I wanted to do something. And I was able to do it, but not the level I wanted to do it, because there's so many bureaucracy when you get into, because education is a funny thing. I had some black males on here that were teachers, and the bureaucracy that surrounds it it's supposed to be a good thing, but sometimes it can have the adverse effect, so it's not as a good thing because they start restraining what you can do.
And the problem with
See
that
no
is
other
that
way. You see no other way.
What y'all said, you go into the community and you
we
start
go
playing
to the
by your own
community
rules.
centers and we start going to the coaches and going through the athletic programs instead of the schools and saying, okay, bring your kids to us. A lot of the school is that the kids are all in one box and they don't take the kids as individuals. The system is created for the overall one student.
The status quo. It's not really directed for.
And when you go in certain communities, it just doesn't fit. So what we're trying to do is go into those communities and fit those particular communities and saying, okay, we want to introduce them to at this age and in this manner so that these kids are going to benefit.
All right, so on that note, we're going to come back and we're going to do the wrap-up, and y'all will hear more from Charnay to do the wrap-up. So stick around with the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.
Oh, yeah, I make sure you talk about our basketball thing with the Fulton County and going into Philadelphia because we're doing it in Philly too.
All right,
The
so
fundraiser event that's coming up in March. So we're doing a fundraiser event with,
So I'm just gonna ask
Oh,
y'all
okay.
to talk about the next event y'all have then.
Okay.
Community event.
all right, so when we come back from break, I'm just going to do a wrap-up and say, okay, final thoughts. Kim, anything else you want to talk about?
We can talk about us needing sponsors too.
We all do. So, we all do. So, I mean, we all do.
That's our struggle.
Hey, Princess. Hey. Well, come on here and wave to the camera. Come on Charnay's side. All right, so this is another one of the interns. Well, in theory, she just kind of showed up. I'm not going to put her in there. She kind of showed up. So say hey tell them your name real quick.
Ashton Merriweather.
All right, she's sitting in. All right, you can sit down now. You had your moment. All right, she's came in today. So as you can see, we're overflowing with interns and all that good stuff. So yeah, when we come back, I'll say final thoughts, and then Charnay will ask y'all to expound upon y'all projects that y'all have going on, and y'all can say how to get in touch with you, stuff of that magnitude. All right. Well, I'm gonna throw my book in first, and then y'all can do what y'all want. Look here, y'all need sponsors, so do I.
I know that's right.
You should write a book though, because a book. That's the only reason I wrote mine, because it makes you an expert in your field. It makes you an expert. It really wasn't terrible to do. It wasn't all that hard to do.
I write a book, that's what I do.
No, I
I
ain't
write.
gonna do
I'm telling you, go
one.
and write a book. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna do one.
Because I put,
not
I wrote it,
sports
slapped it up on
marketing.
Amazon, and then it comes out on the 15th, and I put it on
It's easy to
everything.
do.
It's really not that hard.
It's really easy.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's
already
not
reached out to somebody.
So the one about the community event, and then is it okay if I ask what few words of advice you have for athletes that you wanna say to them? I guess like anything, fitness. Yeah, both of them.
Well, you go ahead and start with that. I'll just take us
The first
in.
one?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take us in from break, and then I'll pass it to you, and you can
Okay.
ask them that
Mhm.
and get their final thoughts, and then just say how if people want to get in touch with you, how they get in touch with you. So ask that after you do that part.
And the community thing.
Yeah. All right, everybody, we back.
How come I don't close headphones?
All right, everybody, welcome back to this week's edition of the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice, and my guests, Tamika and Miss Kimberly. And, we've talked about a lot of stuff today. And these ladies are absolutely amazing. And like I said, I like the passion because I see the passion in both their eyes and their voices. So, to close us out, to finish this last segment, I'm going to let Charnay take over. So, she's going to take over to do this last segment. So all my listeners, if you want to call in and give feedback before we leave out today, you are welcome to do that at 404-355-8699 because again, I'm teaching the next generation. So Charnay, take it away.
Okay, Tamika and Kimberly, I just wanted to know if you all have a few words of advice out there that you want to say to athletes.
With the younger athletes, I would just say, number one, the sport is going to end. What are you going to do then? Number two is hone your craft. A lot of kids have these dreams and these goals, but the generation of kids that we're working with today, they don't want to put the work in. Now, regardless of what your goal is, you have to understand that you have to work. Yeah, there may be a small percentage of people who stumble upon something by accident, but the majority of us, we have to put in the work. You have to accept the failures as lessons and not setbacks, and you have to keep moving forward. A lot of these kids now, they fail one time and they're done. So hone your craft. Accept that you're not going to get everything you wanted exactly when you want it, and just keep pushing. That's the main thing. And parents need to do the same thing. They need to encourage their kids to just keep moving.
And just to piggyback off of that, I would say whatever you want to do, make sure you learn the business side of it. You also need a support system. You also need a support team. You need to ask questions, and just take those failures as lessons. Also as blessings as well.
All right, so Kim didn't get to talk a lot today.
What?
So I just realized that. So I want you I want to get into you really quickly. So this started when the let's say the professional side of it started when?
We started. I actually decided to do it back in November, I think, or October. I think we brought Kim on board.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
September, October.
something like that. And I think we brought Kim on board shortly after that. So it was in the fall of last year.
She actually brought me in based on. I'm also VP of Public Relations for Capital City Legacy Builders Toastmasters as well. So she actually brought me on with that after she thoroughly did her research on Kimberly Raven and what she can do. And so shortly after that, she gave
All right, everybody, hold on, because we actually have a caller.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
caller, you're on the air with Ricardo Rice, Tamika, and Kimberly, and Charnay. What is your question or comment?
Hey, Tasha.
Oh, well, she recognized your voice. So
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hey. This is Dr. Holden. What's going on, ma'am?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
You know you're my girl in the world of pearls. It's all good. For everybody that does not know, this is Dr. Latasha Holden. She's been on the show twice, so she's a friend of the show, and I'm elated that she called. And I see you doing some Sky, I see that. I can see you through the window. He's laughing because I got that word wrong. Elated that she called, and I want to say a shout out to you because I see that you're doing big things. She ran for public office. She didn't win, but she got in the top. So we definitely want to say congrats to Dr. Holden and all her endeavors. And you know I can't keep you on long because we're on our last segment. All right, dear. Thank you for calling. I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Natasha is also a part of PBR family. So.
And that's Latoya Bond she's talking about. That's our franchise player.
Okay, I was
Bond 007.
All right, so we have another caller. Caller, you're on the air with Ricardo D. Rice, Tamika, Charnay, and Kimberly. What's your question or comment?
Hey, EJ. Thank you. Thank you, EJ. I love you.
This has a lot.
Thank you, sir. All right, so they done cut into your minute. So, Kimberly, you got like a minute to say, you know, what was the...
love him.
All right, well, let's do this. What was the objective when she brought you in? What was the objective?
To market PBR.
Really?
Yeah.
Your job is marketing. That's the best you could do?
No,
I'm gonna be honest. She's my voice because I really don't like. She's my voice. Kim is my voice. She's actually.
I do more behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Really, I really do just more behind the scenes.
And she's helped me grow. So
and
she's
she's helped me
coming
grow, too.
because for the past 3 years when we've been in our gym, I've been in my sweatpants with my hair in a ponytail, not really presentable as a CEO and an owner of anything. Because I like to be on the court with the kids
Look,
playing.
I only didn't wear sweatpants today because y'all were coming. Because normally I have on sweatpants because only people can see my top part. They can't see the bottom. I normally wear sweatpants, but I was trying to be nice today.
So Kim kind of made me step my game up, and she's helped put us out there in a way that I wouldn't have done because she just had that personality that I know that I just
Yes,
don't have.
God.
And I have,
That's a good thing.
and I have creative juices.
Yeah.
My creative juices flow. She's allowed me. My job is to actually take PBR to a whole nother height,
Yeah.
pretty much, to a whole nother level.
And it takes
No
so much
dimension.
pressure off
I'm
of
sorry.
me.
Yeah, and it does. I mean, because we share in the job duties, the load. We share in the disappointments, but we also share in the awards as well. So that's what I am.
Oh, that reminds. I just want to say I'm offended that I did not get an invitation to the little pre-Grammy party that y'all went to. Yeah, it came up right in my mini feed, Kim, and I saw you with your little dress on. I'm not gonna tell
that
you.
one-piece jumpsuit with a sash, baby. Yes.
Yeah, actually, Tamika,
The
when I
lady
saw
in
your
red.
pictures, I was like, I didn't know she dressed like that.
I didn't
But-
either.
There's another thing. You've been in with Kim Miss Hollywood now. You're gonna have to step
Oh
it
yeah,
up.
let's get there. Let's go there really
Miss
quickly.
Hollywood. So
Hey,
yes, I had to
yeah,
bring
okay.
her out.
So
I didn't know I dressed
I had
like
to
that
bring
either.
her out.
all right, so let me say this. All right, so when I look up the guests, I go to their social media first. So when Kim sent her information, I was like, okay, well, let me go look it up, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, it probably say Kim Raven. No, it didn't. It was like Kimberly, Miss Hollywood Raven. And that's her handle on LinkedIn too. I was like, so she really did this on LinkedIn
And
too?
Instagram and Twitter is Miss Hollywood. And that's MZ.
She's that chick. So you know we're going. She's that chick. But y'all make me okay. Go ahead, Shanae.
No, I just wanted to say with all that y'all are doing with PBR, can you tell people about what your next community event is?
Our next big event is we're gonna do a basketball tournament with the Fulton County Sheriff's Department, in which it's a fundraising event. And what we're doing is they're gonna have co-ed teams. We're gonna have co-ed teams, and we're gonna compete. It's gonna be a community day. We're looking to have bounce houses out there. We're looking to hopefully get some health screening out there. We're looking to have a pretty big event for the kids and for families. That's our next big one. We're also working on another fitness concert when we're looking to do the same thing in the summertime in Philadelphia with their law enforcement officers. And that's, again, just trying to bridge the relationships between the kids, the community, and our law enforcement agencies. And if we can be a catalyst for that, especially because people are into the basketball, we can help kind of promote that, then that's something that we want to help the law enforcement agencies and the community do.
We also have our launch party.
And then we have our launch party in April.
And we have another tryout.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another women's basketball tryout.
Sounds like y'all about to do a whole bunch of good stuff. Where can people find you all and contact you so they remember about these events?
Facebook,
And
Instagram,
Instagram.
Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta
What are the
Monarchs.
names?
We have a Playmakers Basketball Royalty page, Atlanta Monarchs page on both Facebook and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have a Playmakers International LLC
Yes.
page.
And
as
our
well.
Atlanta Young Misses page.
You have a website too.
Yes.
Y'all need one page so that you can click that one page and go to your different.
And we do.
Y'all need one
We
website
do.
and pages that people can click on. I need y'all to get with time.
You
That's
can
all
actually go to any of those websites. You can go to Playmakers International.
Look here, I got 2 minutes,
find
and what I'm not
any of
about to
our
do is try to go to
organizations.
all 15 of y'all sites. I need y'all to make a one-stop shop. That's what I need y'all to do.
Okay, for radio and radio interviews, television, you can also reach me at Kim Raven at pbroyalties.com. Or Tamika Milburn, you're at T Milburn.
Yeah.
T Milburn at pbroyalties.com.
All right, and there you have it, everybody. So really quickly, we have a caller. Caller your own with Ricardo, Kim, Charnay, and Tamika. What is your question or comment?
Hi.
Hello.
All right,
Hello.
appreciate you, sir. Thank you for calling in. Hopefully, you continue to listen in our last couple of minutes.
Thank you for calling in.
All right, everybody. So we've got their contact information, and again, I just want to say that there is, despite what it looks like, there still is differences in the male and female leadership. And I'm glad to have these wonderful ladies on the show today to give an example of what it actually is like, particularly in sports. Because perception-wise, it does look like a male-dominated industry as far as leadership goes. So these 2 ladies have dispelled that rumor day, that there are women that are in sports leadership that are making it happen. So kudos to you ladies. Thank you for coming in today. And I just want to say really quickly about partnerships. This is a very good partnership because sometimes I've seen partners and they have the same personalities and things don't go well. If you're going to have a partnership, find somebody that balances you because that's the objective with a partnership, to find someone that balances you. So another shout out to Miss Charnay for doing an amazing
Thank you,
job today,
Charnay.
and she was absolutely prepared and you did a very good job, so kudos to you.
Thank you.
And remember, my book is on pre-sale, Calculated Conflict, on Amazon, and it comes out on February the 15th. I will see you guys next Monday, same time, same place, on the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.
I like that name of your book.
I know, it doesn't just jump out at you. It's like a tiger, like, "Rrr," it just
Well, where's
jumps out
our
at you.
autograph copy?
When it comes, you don't listen to nothing I say.
It's on pre-sale.
Oh, it is.
You don't listen to nothing I say. It's absolutely pointless. All right, everybody on YouTube, thank you for tuning in today. Tamika waves to the people. Kimberly waves to the people. Charnay waves to the people. All right, I will upload this and talk to you guys next Monday on the Leadership Blend with the host, Ricardo D. Rice.